Hello and welcome to another episode of Hedgehog Makes. My name is Austin, aka Zombie Hedgehog, and today we are going to be unboxing and taking a first look at the Creality K1C. This is their update to the previous K1 that has some improvements, but did they improve it enough to be worthwhile of a whole another release? Is it pretty much just a K1, or are the improvements worthwhile to upgrade your K1? So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this printer, slicing some stuff in the stock slicer, and then hopefully getting Orca slicer set up, because that's what I prefer to use, and then discussing the printer and investigating as we go. So that being said, this is being recorded on Twitch Live, so if you'd like to catch these live, hop over to twitch.tv/zombiehedgehog and join the fun. So I did buy this with my own money. Actually, thanks to Polymaker for partially sponsoring this printer. And I'm expecting it to be pretty good. This is my first Creality Core XY. I've had a lot of their bed slingers. They actually sent over the CR10 SE, which is their Ender 3 clone, but kind of improved upon with some linear rails and stuff. So they've released a lot of printers, and I'm interested to see what they did to this one, and actually how they unlocked Clipper. So this printer, I think, is the first one that they're actually saying that they have Clipper. Like, they're promoting the fact that it's run off a Clipper instead of Creality OS, which is just Clipper with some, Linux modifications. So yeah, we'll be taking a look at that. So far, I can't really show you too much. This camera's pretty close, but it comes with this instruction manual with unboxing steps. So take out packaging stuff, take out foam, unbox printer, and then do some stuff. That's kind of cool. Putting the instructions right on the cardboard. Oops. And then they have some foam on the bottom here glued on. Pretty cool. I dig it. It looks like it has some nice foam. Ooh, it's a thick manual with stickers. So many stickers. So here is the top hat. Already, I don't like the fact that they have an acrylic top hat. I think that makes it look super kind of cheap, and I don't like the style of it, just personally. But that's what they did. Instead of having the actual printer higher with a flat top, they have a little bit of a bulge in the top to add the necessary room for cables. All right, some foam. Put that off to the side. And then there's some more foam on the sides, as the box said. Pretty nice foam, very thick. Let me actually just grab it. The box does come with handles built in, which is really nice. It is a heavier printer. It's not a lightweight, but it's still pretty reasonable. So you just grab it by the bag itself and lift it up. Nothing else in the box, a little bit more foam, lots of protection. They want to make this Uncle Jesse proof. All right, this is the printer. So let me take it out of its little protective bag. When I got that list out of the bag idea. A lot of people have been using that for a long time. It's pretty useful for heavy things. I don't know, do you guys prefer when you lift up the cardboard and then this stays like on the floor? Or do you prefer to pull the thing out? Because for heavy things, even like this, it's not lightweight. It might make more sense for the box to lift up, but that's just me. So we have lots of foam protecting the whole Core XY assembly. You definitely don't want that moving around in shipping. We have, let's see, some stuff in here. We have our power cord, just the generic short cord. We have our door handle that ships separately, probably because it protrudes too much. We got here. are, oh wow, the heck is this? Carbon filter with questionable amounts of carbon in there. Is there any carbon in there? I can see right through it, so yeah, that's that's not a lot of carbon. You want that thing to be almost completely full, because what's going to happen is the dirty air is going to go right through without even hitting the carbon, charcoal, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of useless. I'm expecting people to release better versions of this. Interesting. So yeah, I don't know. That would be for filtering for stuff like ABS or when you print carbon fiber related stuff. You don't want to breathe that in, so it's best to filter. And this is a printer targeted at printing abrasives, so we're gonna check that out. How does this come out? Let's see, let's check the handy top box. It says, remove the power cord and air filter, move the chain to one side in the direction indicated by the arrow. Oh, okay. You just like kind of bend it and that pops off. Okay. Neat. What else is there? There's a box. Oh, yeah, there's definitely a box in here. Okay. Is that it? Close enough. Source better filter. Yeah, like it's on the back actually. So you can put your own filter on the back if you wanted to. I will say this is probably going to be a bit more upgradable, customizable, moddable than a Bambu. I'm already seeing that the doors are just screwed in on the sides, the panels. I see a ton of screws, so I'm expecting that you can probably disassemble this pretty heavily to get to all the components, which is good. That's one thing Creality is great at is, well, at least previously you're able to get to all the components. Now people are starting to, or companies are starting to make more unique components that you can't source anyway or can't even print. But I think it's kind of stabilizing. All right, right off the bat, wow, that's a lot of lube. So they definitely went lube heavy on here. So looking at the top, it's kind of a unique design. I think it's unique. So they actually have an offset Y or X rod. I don't know why. It makes sense though when you think about it. It adds more, you know, it puts the bushings in different places so you can have everything laid out differently. The extruder kind of sits in between the two rods. I think it's a cool design. I don't know if I've ever seen this done before. And they're actually using, are they using bushings? Yeah, they're using bushings. But they're using a ton of lube. Like right off the bat, this thing is just coated in lube. Ooh, it feels smooth. That is really smooth. Usually if you try to move something by hand, it's kind of stuttery. No, this is really smooth. That's the first thing I do when I build a voron is see how smooth it is. This is probably smoother than some of my vorons actually. It's kind of cool. Let's actually take a look at the printer because I've only seen these in pictures. Oh, is this aluminum? What material is this body? It looks nice. The first time I saw this, I immediately thought it looked better than the Bambu. I don't know what it is. Maybe like the angled corners. It looks nice. Very nice. So I'm just going to take off all of the protective stuff on here. Lock symbol indicate the Bowden tube. Lock the Bowden tube in place. That'll be for loading and unloading filament. So Creality has used a LGX Lite design. So they've taken the LGX Lite and kind of, you know, copied over some of the features from that. So the LGX Lite has a fixed, like either full tension or no tension knob on it, which does work pretty good. So I'm not surprised they went with that style. But that just means if you're loading filament manually, you'll be able to unlock this, slide the bone or the tube in, and then close it once it's past the extruder gears. Actually, I don't know what the loading process is on here. I'm kind of curious. Is there a loading macro or something? That's one thing I'm spoiled about for the X1. I just throw a spool into the EMS, and it grabs it automatically and does all of the loading and purging without me even touching it. It's a little bit too nice sometimes. Filament texture got moved to the back. Oh, did it? That's kind of unfortunate. Oh yeah, it is. Is it? Oh wow. Do they have actual filament detection in the head though? Because you don't want filament detection way in the back. You want it right at the tool head so it knows when it's loaded. And then it can automatically grab it. Huh. Surprising. But I've seen people completely replace the whole entire gantry of these things. So anything is possible. Anything. Should we actually look at the installation guide? Probably. Yeah, if you highlight text, I can see it better. If you're watching this on YouTube, now is a great time to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I do printer unboxings, custom printer builds, all the things. Guess there's some more. Well, you can't break the front door if you can't open it. There we go. So they added some protective goodies on here. The door feels very similar to the X1. Actually, really similar to the X1. Okay. Very similar to the X1's door. I'm probably going to get X1 and K1 mixed up because they're kind of the same name, especially X1C and K1C. A bit closely named. I guess people are familiar with that naming scheme. I got some sticky goo. I'll have to clean up later. There's also a panel on the inside of the door, or a protective sticker on the inside too, because this is a solid piece of glass, much like the Bambu. So looks like we have some more stuff here. Should probably clear some space out on the side. It's okay. Take this box out. Looks like it's just, you know, kind of nice. They went in and engineered their own little protective foam thing with cardboard. I dig it. Well done. Any way to protect these things during shipping is a bonus for me. Let's look on the... Ooh, I don't want to break that door already. Let's look on the inside of the printer. Stuff out of the way so I can get to it. All right. What do I got here? We got the screen cable. Okay, the screen cable is going to go over here. We have a flex sheet. Looks like... Ooh. Oh, no. What is this? Oh, no. They don't have a standard textured PEI? Wait, and it's single-sided? What? It's just like one of those smooth plates that Bambu used to ship. Even Bambu doesn't ship these anymore because they know they're terrible. Huh. Oh, and it comes with the wiper on it? What? Okay, so this is new. I thought it was on the printer, but apparently this little wiper is on the build sheet. So they're forcing you to buy X1C build plates. What? Okay. So I can't just take my own PEI. I gotta use one of theirs. Huh. Unless I can just glue... Oh, okay. Maybe I can glue this thing on? It's already coming off, actually. It's already becoming undone, so I don't know how well it's gonna stick. I don't know about that design. I can't say that that's a good design. But, wow. They've really, like, Bambuified their bed. They added this solid piece in the front, for whatever reason. Is there a sticker on here? What's this blue? Oh, it's just a reflection. Okay. At least it has indexing. What is this arrow? Oh, okay. Kind of like Bambu. They have all the arrows. So how do you unscrew it? I can do that. I said X1C, K1C. What is this thing? This is a K1C, right? Creality. I already told you I was going to mix them up. You can use any heat bed. Well, yes, I'm aware, but the whole point of this is now they've realized that you have to wipe off your nozzle before you probe it. And they don't have built-in wiping on the other one, don't they? I don't think the K1 has wiping. So they've added in the little wiper to help with wiping. What size is this? M2. Or 2mm. Oh, that's a 3 anyway. K1 has wiping. It does? It wipes on like a silicone pad or something? To be completely honest, I know almost nothing about the K1. I wish I did. But I don't. I have an awkward angle. So you get one screw here. It's like kind of an odd screw. It's like a plastic screw. Self-tapping. Oh, geez. I touched the rod. Now I'm going to be covered in lube. What's this sticker? Okay, we're going to investigate this sticker on the bottom here. In a second here. K1 wipes itself. It has a wipe area. Well, that's not wiping. That's just kind of smearing filament. I mean, like actually like wiping filament with a wiper. But any printer, you can have it kind of like do a prime line or smudge the bed. But if you have a lot of filament, you don't want to just put that on the bed. It needs to go in a dedicated area, right? I don't know. I'm just used to how Bambu does it at this point, and I kind of want companies to copy that if they're going to do anything. Copy the fact it will just like purge in a specific area instead of just throwing filament all over the printer for you to find it later. Okay, I can't get this last screw out. It's in a very awkward situation, or an awkward area. You can't actually get to it. You have to... You need like a magnet to get to it. That's a weird... There we go. That's somewhere. Weird. But it does say on this thing that I tore off to remove the 3 screws. Alright. Those go in the garbage. Put the CR10 sheet in. I am actually tempted to. Just grab one of my standard sheets. But does the slicer... That's the issue. Does the slicer tell it to wipe here? Because if you have a standard bed, it's gonna do nothing, right? It's a completely different macro. That's what I'm saying, is that this printer is designed out of the box to use this sheet. And if the macros are set up to wipe on that sheet, then it's not gonna work out of the box with the standard sheet. It probes for it. Does it actually? It does work? Okay, that's what I was wondering. After my experience with the other the CR10, I looked at their macros and they're kind of weird. So I was wondering if they'd figure that out for this. So let's see what's next. What is next? We've got install the product. Install door handle. Okay. We do that. Actually, it looks pretty solid and it feels pretty solid. To begin with, wish more companies would include handles in their printers so you can actually move them around, but it's a good start. Sheet that comes with the printer is very good. Wipe down with IPA. Okay. Do you use the stock settings for it? To be fair, or sorry, to be honest, I prefer the look of texture PEI over smooth or satin, because I want all my surfaces to look the same. That's what makes the textured look better. Oh, okay, it does stick out. So this goes here. There's a little tab that sticks out like that. Okay. So that goes in from the back. There's a little hole thingy. Okay. And then a screw thingy. Googly eyes. If I had them handy, I'd put them on. Now I'm getting a handle on things. Yeah. So these looks like they have to be screwed in to start them out. Don't drop test 3D printer. I would not recommend it. More Paint and Unicorns, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. Just looking at the printer, I see that it has a USB, just a standard USB port in the front. That's really nice because when you go to, install something that requires USB, then it's just right in the front. You don't have to go digging under the printer. Pretty nice. I don't know necessarily what you'd need to plug into this printer. It already has a camera. It already has an AVXL. Not sure. But if you need it, it's there. Oop. Now what I have heard is, I believe some people are installing beacon on these printers or some other type of probing setup. Has anyone else installed a different probe onto the printer? The powerful USB port. All right, good to know. Good to know. Okay, so the actual handle design is a little bit. It's all right. Trying to see how Bambu does it. Bambu's is like super loose. Is it because it's not screwed in all the way, or is it because it has gaskets? Yeah, it's screwed in with gaskets. It's a little bit different. This one's actually pretty sturdy. And you can just, print your own handle if you really want to. So, I don't know if the old printer had gasketing foam on here, but now it has a gasket foam, and it has a nice magnet that seems to close shut. Other handle choices on printables. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure. I'd like a bigger handle, but honestly, it works. And it matches the theme of it. Not bad. Almost kind of looks 3D printed too, because it has some lines on it. All right, what's next? Is there a peel? There we go. So over on this side of the printer, look how many reflections we're gonna get. On this side of the printer, we have some screw holes. I think that's where the spool holder goes. That's how the fan is screwed in. Oh, wow. They literally just screw the fan to the side panel. Damn. That's one way of doing it. It's just screwed to the side panel. Wow. Okay. Most reflective printer 2024. Yeah. Oh, God. It's rough. Every single panel or printer that's enclosed now is reflective. No gasket on the K1. Okay, well that's good. It'll help keep it warm. Gotta remove these arrow stickers because we've already removed the screws. What else? What else is there to do on here? We need a screen. I know that for sure. Definitely need a screen. Spool holder. Oh, it's a G-code file. Okay. So, there's no way I can even remotely put a rear spool holder on my printer because I have my printer on a shelf. I don't know who has their printer at like an unopened desk that they can actually reach around and grab filament, but that's not me. So it'll be imperative that I put it on the side. Should have done glass or solid side panels. I don't actually mind, mind the panels, but yeah. Oh, looks like there is, oh wow, that's kind of cool. Down here, they've added a see-through port for adjusting your voltage. So that's where the power supply is. Kind of cool. I dig it. So I'm gonna have to see what it's set to. I can't even. Oh, I guess it tells you which direction it's supposed to go. So let's flip that over. Any properly built printer will have it switch to 240 volts because there's no way that they would want it on 115. Most people are going to plug it in, realize it doesn't work, then check the voltage. It'd be nice if they had, one of those automatic voltage sensing ones. Not sure why they don't have an automatic voltage sensing power supply. But it is what it is. I think that's about it, right? Filter. Oh, the filter goes on the back. Okay, snaps onto the back. So I'm expecting people to make better filters for that. And actually, ironically, that filter is going to cause more harm than good because what are you filtering? Usually ABS, ASA, and you're venting it. And you don't want to vent it because it's just going to reduce your chamber temps. So it doesn't make sense when you vent, vent the air in the chamber. Same thing with the stock voron design. No one really uses that anymore. The external filter, they use an internal recycling filter like an Evermore. So yeah, you can build your own filter for this. I'm seeing a bento box or one of the other styles. The fan doesn't even come on when doing ABS. Well, yeah, that defeats the purpose of it then. I don't know. Maybe you can filter after, but then you really want to... this Trident up here is a prime example of why you want a filter. After about 1,000 hours or more on that, almost 1,000 hours, all the panels are completely coated and I have to replace them because I didn't filter out the ABS. All right, next. Powered on? No, screen. Phew, bless me. I'm sure the screen's in here because this thing is heavy. Something has to be in here. Oh, about 500 grams of filament, maybe? Hyper PLA. Okay, they do give you Hyper PLA, which is smart. Nozzle unclogging tool for when you have to unclog the nozzle. Wow, a lot of stuff in here. A nice little pack. Looks good. They have a pretty nice plastic scraper. Remember, don't use a metal scraper on your plastic beds. That's actually pretty nice. That'll be useful. And you kind of have to use it for, well, the sheets that they provide. I feel like they stick pretty well. More blue. I think I have 3 new snips this week. 3 of them. I'll put that in the pile. Tool, which you're not going to want to ever lose. Oh, this same brand of lube that everyone includes. It'll be interesting to see how to remove the rods to access the bearings. USB. We got some tools, screws. Foam? What? Foam? Foam. 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 Okay, foam for something. And of course our glue stick to make things stick. I'll just use it, why not? Better to have it and not need it. I'll eventually apply some Maker's Mistress on the bed for testing. Door hinge gasket? Door hinge? Gasket? It already has a gasket on it, doesn't it? We have our spool holder, which will just go onto the back. Yeah, they've actually molded. The back of the printer is really nice. I gotta say, the back looks better than the sides and the front. Like, it's this really nice, like, hexagon pattern. Like, they should put that on the sides of the printer. And then added some modular mounting screws so you can put stuff to the side of your printer. That would make more sense than these. Like, not even, you can't even see through them. Like, there's no point of having frosted panels on the side when you're, like, you know, to try to see through them, because you're not going to be able to. That's pretty cool. You do have a filament sensor, but it's a very basic one. I'm not sure if they have clog detection, if this is a smart sensor or if it's just a dumb sensor. But what I would do is add on a sensor that has clog detection. And since this is just raw clipper, you should be able to add that on pretty easily. Is the only difference between the K1, K1C is that it comes with the camera? No, there's a lot of kind of major changes, actually. For starters, probably the biggest change is that they realized that on the K1, you're not really going to be able to see this too much, but right here, the pulley that's attached to the motor, right here, it's a normal size pulley now. It looks probably closer to a 20-tooth pulley. There we go. They had a really large pulley. So the larger the pulley directly connected to the motor, the slower the motor has to spin to reach the same speeds. The faster it can spin, like your top speed, but it means that at the same speeds, it has to spin slower. And the slower that these motors spin, well, the more VFAs you get out of the motor. You actually want the motor to spin as fast as possible for the cleanest possible prints. And that's why I'm actually going to look into, in the future, reducing the output of your motor, like a 2-to-1, to see if that improves your quality. Because if it spins twice as fast, you get half the VFAs, hypothetically. 16-tooth pulley. Is it 16? Definitely doesn't look like 16. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. You'll find that motors with the smaller gears on them, and when they spin faster, it just makes your surfaces a little bit better. That's a full deep dive and just some observations I've seen over time. The frosted side panels let some light in. Not really. I mean, yes, technically, but I don't know. So let's just do a very brief overview of the printer before we... Actually, let's turn it on. No, we gotta do the screen. And then we'll do a brief overview as we're turning it on. So fit and finish, this thing feels legit. Like, this thing feels like a real product, if that makes any sense. The build quality, the panels don't line up perfectly, but the actual quality of the frame, the fit and feel and finish, it feels good. I'll say that. This is definitely the nicest Creality printer that I own. For sure. Which way does this go? Like this? Kind of a weird locking mechanism on their ribbon cable. It actually looks quite fragile. I don't know why they went with this. but there it goes, and then this whole thing just snaps right in, hypothetically, or slides in, goes in somehow. It slides in, slides down. There we go. That works. And it says on the screen to apply 120 volts on the side, which we've already done. Oops. Oh. There we go. And now we get to power it on for the first time. But yeah, it feels pretty good. I don't know what all this writing is on here. I actually don't really like that. But yeah, it looks pretty basic. The motor for the bed is actually inside of the chamber. That's a bold move. I guess it doesn't really matter, but generally you want your motors on the outside of the printer. But the bottom is probably not going to get that hot because all the hot air rises. Yeah, not bad. Looks like there's plenty of area on the outsides to add filters and stuff like that. All right, not bad. Do you guys want to power it on for the first time? They do let light in? Yeah, I can see that. All right, powering on in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm noticing that their indexing screws are very low. So it's actually quite hard to index using them. Oh yeah, that's an issue. Oh my god. Yeah, you can just like put the whole thing on the screws without really trying. Ooh, these fingerprints? What is this lube? What is this stuff on here? Is that me touching lube? Oh. The tool head, I like it. I actually really like this tool head. It seems pretty small. Caution hot. Yeah, I like the tool head. It uses a Moon stepper, which, as we know, Moon's has the strongest of the pancake little NEMA 14 motors. I already removed those screws. So I'm gonna set it up. It's a pretty basic setup process. Ugh. English. Remove screws. Welcome. I have read the privacy policy. Network. Oh, good. This printer has a sideways screen, so you can actually type like a normal person, and not the QWERTY weird one that was on the K1, or sorry, the CR10. Oh boy. Yeah, plain text, password. Lovely. Oops. Oh. I don't like this screen. Or the interface. That's alright. I need to install Swift key on here. Okay. Enter. How many bits technical jest yet? The cost of the printer. So that's a great time to bring up the printer itself. This is a $560 printer. So they've obsoleted the K1 and they made it the same price. And then of course this will go on sale. Right now it is, they've listed it as a pre-order, but I think you can order it. Oh no, shipping date February 28th. Oh yeah, so this isn't, wow. This is shipping way, way later. So this won't be available until March now. Interesting. Well, I'm lucky that I got my pre-order in first, so I can get it sooner than later. EST, Area International. We're not binding it to Creality Cloud. Self-check. Start detecting. Okay, so now it's going to go through and do its kind of Setup procedure. I don't know, it's just gonna detect things. Yeah, the screen's, I mean, it's decent. I like that it's a full touchscreen, so I'm guessing that once you root this, completely erase what they have on here, install your own OS, you should be able to hypothetically install Clipper screen on here. That's what I'm guessing. I haven't honestly looked up a lot of videos on rooting and custom stuff, but eventually I will at least root it to see what's on there, which it already has root access from what I've heard, but I want to see what files are on there and how easy it is to access our own stuff. Yeah, we could talk 15 minutes. So, who is this printer for? This is let's just say it's a $500 printer. What does this do that cheaper printers can't do, and that more expensive printers can also do? So number one, it's enclosed. That's the biggest deal. Not everyone is going to need to print ABS, but if you do need to print ABS for something structural, or ASA for something outside, for printing out printer parts, which is kind of a niche within the custom printer community, but if you want to print more durable materials than PLA, then you want your printer to be enclosed, more than likely. So this gives you a full enclosure for that. It should also, if you're printing PLA and you're running the exhaust fan, it should be quieter than running open air, but not by much. Looks like it's doing its resonance tests, which is great because it's on my wobbly table. That's okay. I can always redo all the setup for it. I just want to get it up and running. But this thing right here is a Core XY. It should hypothetically do everything for you. The one thing it won't do is load filament, though. You'll still have to do a manual filament loading, compared to the Bambu, which will do a full purge out the back or to the side on the case of like an A1. So I don't believe that this one will. They haven't implemented that, but maybe hypothetically you can put your own something in there. I don't know if the tool head moves far enough back for that. Maybe it doesn't. No, so I've been streaming live on Twitch and then flipping out just the YouTube recording. So that way, after the fact, we can have a little bit of an after party, discuss some stuff that happened, and discuss other things that aren't related to the printer. So once again, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to check out that Twitch link in the video description. It's quite a bit of fun to watch live. So this is going to be a direct competitor to Bambu's P1S. So the P1S is $200 more. Is that correct? So it's $699, $200 more. And with that, you do get a slightly bigger build volume. This is a 220 by 220 by 250, the size of an Ender 3. But on the Bambu, you get 256 by 256 by 256. That being said, the Bambu will put down some purge lines on it, and I think the actual bed on here is bigger than the build volume. So you're probably getting closer to 250 by 250 on this, and you get the full 220 by 220. And that extra 30 by 30 is useful in a lot of cases. 140 more, right. So for the full price of this, which this will go on sale, they always do. Bambu printers generally don't go on sale. So I'm going to call this around a $500 printer because that's probably what it's worth. The biggest downside of this over a Bambu is the filament management when you're running an AMS. So there is no multi-color filament management system for this yet. If If you want to add one, then you're probably building your own. You're probably doing an ERCF, a trad rack, something like that. That'll give you kind of filament management. So you load the filaments in, and then you're able to select what color you want from the software. But that's quite an advanced setup, especially for someone just kind of easily looking into, just 3D printing. CoPrint with their new setup. Allegedly, you can actually replace the tool head on here somehow. I haven't really looked into it, but you can put their extruder on, and you will lose build volume. But that'll allow multicolor as well. I'll be interested to see that work. I don't know if I'm going to modify one of these for that, but if enough people are interested, maybe I'll pick up a used K1 and then put that on here. Let me know in the video description, what printer do you want me to put the CoPrint printer on, or the tool head on, because that'll be an interesting setup. For this, I might actually do an ERCF build. I'm not sure yet, but I want some type of filament management for it. So combined with something like the unoriginal Prusa dry box style, open source AMS enclosure thing that I can put on top, I'm sure that someone's going to develop something, and looking forward to see the mods for this. Cobra Go. What about Cobra Go? Put CoPrint on a Rook. They actually just released a update where they're redesigning their tool head, which is nice to see. I was planning on putting the CoPrint on the Creality, Ender 3 S1, because it looked pretty nice, and I'd probably add linear rails to it as well. But yeah, I don't know yet. We'll see how many printers I have until then. This will be nice to keep mostly stock, because a lot of other people are going to buy this printer. Wow, that is a loud fan. That's a side blower fan. Ooh, that is some serious cooling. I really wish they'd have dual blower fans, curtain fans, because just one-sided cooling never works the best. You always want balanced cooling when possible. CoPrint also supports voron. It should. You will lose build volume, but it should support voron. So full unboxing and setup for that once that comes in a couple months. Of course. A couple things to note on this printer. The Bowden tube. I don't know if I like it. It's run inside of the drag chain, and it looks like once this panel's on, it's gonna like crash into the side, and it's odd. It's an odd decision. Yeah, it'll hit the back at least. It's definitely odd to have that all in there. And this does look decently supported. It feels a lot stiffer than what the K1 has for drag chain. And it looks like are they using properly rated cable for this too? Looks like they might be. Good for them, if it does. You took the tube out of the chain? Yeah, that's probably something that I'll do as well. I'll use it stock for now, but I just don't like how it bends that chain in like that either. Is the bed leveling almost the same as that from Bambu? Yes. So I think they have a strain gauge in the tool head. Is that right? In the tool head? Where Bambu has the gauges in the bed itself. You run your bone tube across the top of the chain. There are clips out there. Okay, yeah, that's probably what I would do, assuming that the top hat allows for it. Give it a little more bending radius too. K1 is in the bed. So there's 4, you're saying that there's 4 sensors in the bed? Wow, that is super slow. Let me actually get you a view of what it's trying to do. Hopefully not messing up too much. It's quite slow. So I've heard from the grapevines that this method of probing isn't very accurate compared to the other probing methods. So in order to get it to be accurate, you got to do it really slow. I don't know what kind of magic Bambu is doing, but their first layers seem pretty good and they can probe very fast. I can see that Creality hasn't adjusted the lift speed at all. In Clipper, they're doing the stock lift speed, so it lifts super slow. They should be increasing that to the maximum C movement speed. KE probes faster than that. Yeah, this is quite slow. Hopefully this doesn't do this every time like this. It should be stiff enough to not be affected, hopefully. Speaking of being affected, these feet are super squishy. They're also already very dirty. I just unboxed it and now they're covered in dirt. I don't even know where that came from. That doesn't make any sense. But they're already completely dirty, the feet. Just want to print on it. I want to print. We done yet? So they are using standard, oh, of course. They are using standard rods on here, opposed to Bambu, which has carbon rods. I don't think the carbon rods really add anything besides a little bit of weight reduction, but with input shaping, it does matter a little bit, but at normal printing speeds, I don't think there's much of a difference between having slightly heavier steel rods versus carbon rods. Not sure. But what I am sure of is the fact that my merch is the softest out of any merch you'll ever get. So if you want to pick up some Hedgehog Makes merch, I have all kinds of shirts. I have a couple of new options that I just launched, some mouse pads too, and a blanket. You want to pick that up? It is in the link is in the video description, and it's pretty cool because they print it on demand, so you can buy just one of any item. So let me know how you like your merch in the comments below. I haven't had a single bad review yet, which is good. What's going on here? Is it done? I think it's done. Yay! Self-check completed. Oh geez, firmware update? Yeah, let's do a firmware update. Right off the bat. Not a single bad review yet? Yeah, I challenge you. I challenge you to buy my merch and see if it is not the softest merch you'll ever get. Now we gotta let it do a firmware update, but while that's going, let's check out the slicer. So this does use Creality Print, and I've shown my gripes to the software before, but we're going to add a K1C to it and check out the profile. So let's see what the normal profile is like. I'll be launching or releasing my Orca Slicer profile on Patreon once I have that developed, but for now we'll just use this. Jokes on you, Nightcore. I have no idea how you return merch. I don't know if you can. So, yeah. New blanket is fleece. Actually, I did order one, and it should be coming in soon. Layer height, arc tolerance, okay. Shell, 2 walls, 4 top, 4 bottom. Sharpest corner, hide seam, infill, grid. Why is every manufacturer choosing grid? Do they understand that grid is not the best infill type? At the minimum, cubic should be used. That's kind of cool. They give you a pattern. Octolit? What even is that? I want to use gyroid. I've kind of standardized on gyroid. I think it is probably the best. After a year of not using it, I finally used it, and 8% gyroid seems fine. For fast printing. Let's see, what else we got? Infill overlap? That seems pretty high, 30%. 300%, okay, so this is where it's 300 millimeters a second print speed. 300 outer, 300 inner, 200 outer. Yeah, that's a bit much. I'll try it because I'm curious, but even on the Bambu, these speeds are too fast for good quality prints. So I'll at least edit that. 220. Oh yeah, puts the material in here. Interesting. Only 45C for the build plate. Is that true? Now we're gonna test this as is. We're gonna test it as is. Outer wall flow, 95%. Yeah, I don't. Okay, I'm already getting this too much. Too much. We dug too deep into this. Let's drop in a test model. Let's do something different. This is Polymaker's Polypearl Tower. This is a nice little stress test first print to do. Has some major overhangs, etc. It shouldn't be that long to print. Let's slice it. Not been supporting and may fail, that's fine. That's fine. So now we can go to our device. How long does this take to print? 52 minutes? Really? Okay. I guess we have 52 minutes. Add printer. Okay, I have the CR10SE and the K1. I guess I'll add them both. Alright, filament run out. Benchy? No, that's a boring print. How do I load filament from here? Okay, I gotta go into the printer. Details? Aha. Oh, there's the camera. Oh yeah, someone posted a video. Apparently it comes with a little plastic cover on the camera. There we go, that's better. Not bad. Unfortunately, with time lapses, yeah, it has a clear window so you can see perfectly outside of it. So that's a bummer. Sometimes, you know, you don't want to see outside of the printer with time lapses. So loading filament. I do everything from my browser, so I don't want to have to go into the screen to load filament. How do I do that? Oh, well, you can't. All right. Sorry, had to rant there for a minute. So to load filament, you magically teleport to the back of your printer, and you put filament through the sensor. I will be very, very quickly redoing the filament spool holder and putting on the side, because I just physically can't put filament through the back of my wall. I'd have to remove the whole entire printer every time I loaded filament. How do I load filament? Do you just not press it up? Is there a special button you press to load it? Oh no, it's just a weird sensor. Okay. So hypothetically, you would load filament until it hits the gears. Press in there, and then we can go to please recalibrate. No, I don't want it to recalibrate. What? Do I really have to recalibrate it? Let's load filament. So extrude, retract. We want to extrude. That's actually different than the K1. It has different terminology. They suggest cutting the tip of the filament. I just did. I gotta recalibrate, yeah. So let's see if this thing will load filament. Wow, the hot end is like way towards the back. That's interesting. You can actually see it from the back. Neat. Neat looking printer. Let's just smear some glue on because I'm probably not going to use this sheet more than a day. So let's just smear it with glue. Ugh. That's one way to ruin a time lapse. Yeah, I know it has new firmware. It probably wants to recalibrate. That's okay. We can do it. We'll do something. Extruding? Are you extruding? What's going on here? It has no progress. Doesn't tell me what the temperature is, if I'm waiting on something, if it's waiting on me. Unknown. Fine, looks weird. The whole tool head, you think looks weird? I kind of like it. Looks pretty solid. Is it metal? Like, I don't know, I had to go for a thick metal tool head, but if that increases rigidity, then that's a factor. It's definitely heating up. I still can't tell what it's doing, though. Are you extruding? I don't know. We're gonna find out. So I'm using some Polymaker PLA Pro, just standard green, because Creality is now green, apparently. Flames. Yeah, images of flames always makes it go faster. So they've done something good, and they've added their light right on the front here. So it actually shines into the printer, instead of Bambu's like on the side, very dim light. So I like that a lot better. That's nice. I sure go all the way to the nozzle. Well, I'm hit load filament. I just press it up towards it. Like, I don't have to, if I had to undo this lever every time I load filament, that's going to be a giant pain. It's going to take off the top cover, which will be hard if it's in an enclosed area. Is it doing anything? Finish. It definitely did not. So are you telling me I have to undo this lever every time I load filament? Yeah, I didn't grab it. Weird. Let me try loading it again. Oh, this time it's telling me the temperature. Huh. Only tells you when it's heating. Weird. Yeah, I didn't grab it at all. You also have to push it. So I have to like push it in as it's extruding, and they're expecting you to do this on the back of the printer? I don't know. I think it's a step backwards, because on typical printers you could just, as much as I hate it, you could just put the spool right on top and then kind of just press it in. With this, going all the way around to the back, like, it seems like they don't understand how people are going to use their printer, which is pressed up against the wall. So yeah, if I have this, like the Bambu, for example, there's no way that I'm reaching up into here to undo the lever. Like, that's not going to really happen to load filament. It kind of has to do it all by itself. There, it's loading filament. They had some white in there to test. So, we're good here. And that's why I'd probably add something like an irregular rabbit carrot feeder or some type of spool management. What are you going to do? Well, not put it on the back. That's the solution. They've already figured it out. They have a mod probably on the printer that bolts it to this side fan, which side mounting is definitely better than nothing. Like on my Trident right here, so I can actually push it through the long Bowden tube, and it works. Okay, so we have filament, so now we can print, right? Or do I have to redo the whole calibration? I might as well, because if I don't, and if it looks bad, then yeah. Luckily, this is almost the same layout as Bambu's stuff, so it's pretty easy to find things. System. How do I calibrate? I actually don't know. Is it under settings? Cooling? Extract? Movement? Files? Oh yeah, self-check, right. It shouldn't be under self-check, because it's not self-check, it's actual calibration. So we'll just do input shaping, because well, unless it needs a bed mesh first. Okay, we'll do it both. I don't know if it does a bed mesh before it starts printing. This is painful. What's painful about this? Okay, we can watch it through the slicer. Lovely glue. Tells me to. 11 minutes. This camera's pretty good. I think it's a bit like angled too much. I don't know if it got shifted from the factory or if I can shift it, but it's angled too far back. What enclosed printer would you recommend for a makerspace? Bambu P1S. That's like the only enclosed printer that I'm fully recommending to just average users at this time. We'll see how the K1C fares, but I'm already like struggling to load filament. You shouldn't have to struggle to load filament on any printer. But yeah, P1S. I am actually I'm probably either gonna get a second X1C or a P1S, because I find myself just using the Bambu more than any other printer. Even though I build custom vorons and stuff, Bambu just kind of works. And loading filament is super easy. That's one of the things that I dislike about modern 3D printers, is how difficult it is to load filament, and it really shouldn't be. So it's definitely vibrating. This is just running a standard Clipper input shaping test as far as I'm aware. Ooh, if it's rooted, I wonder if I can install, what do you call it, the new bed mesh thing. It's Shake and Tune. There's a brand new update to that makes it really, really user friendly, and it displays the entire output of the input shaper chart right on your browser. So once we get Mainsail installed and all that stuff, then I'll look into that. I was not able to do it with the CR10 SE. No, not the height map, the input shaper graph. to show you how good or bad the printer is. That's probably one of the most useful troubleshooting things you can get out of a printer, is the input shaper graph. And they don't want you to see the height map. They definitely don't want you to see that. Yeah, P1P seems pretty good. P1S is an enclosed version of it with a side fan, which is even better. And if you'd like to pick up a Bambu, I have an affiliate link down in the video description. Those have been tested a lot more than the K1s, or at least the K1Cs. So I would, if you're on the fence, I would just go for a Bambu at this time until these have been further tested. Like, who knows, there might be an issue with them, kind of like the original K1s. They went through 3 different extruders until they found one that worked out. So yeah, this might have some growing pains. It was very quickly released, it seems like. But since this is based off of an existing K1 printer, I'm expecting less issues. And that's why I jumped on it, because they've already beta tested the K1 for almost a year. Is this almost done? Well, I mean, the K1 for 400 bucks, that's a pretty good deal. I'm expecting this to go on sale for maybe not quite that, but pretty low. It is now doing the leveling. Oh, wow. Okay. We're going to be here a while. Any questions? I have this thing. Now what? Why did I buy it? That's a great question. So, I'm not lacking 3D printers, and I'm also not really reviewing 3D printers as other people do. I use 3D printers. And the best test of a 3D printer is if it stays on my shelf to be used, that means I like it. And if I like it, that means it's probably pretty decent. So all the printers, all the top shelf printers up here, I use and I like and I enjoy. What is the image on the spool filament? It's their little robot dude. I forget what it's called, but the guy that's on the stickers. Sovi? Suvi? Is that where Sovel came from? Oh, that's the Sovel one. Cuva? Anyway, yeah, so the printers that I use, for example, the Micron Plus I built, I just did this print on here. This is Chelsea Creates Things, Skull with Mohawk, or something like that. I haven't removed the sports on it yet, but it was a pretty damn good print. The B0 is great for rapid prototyping, ABS parts. The X1 is amazing at probably the best, or sorry, the most consistent multicolor prints. Right now I'm doing one of Fixin' Dude's FDM cars in 3 colors, and it's been going strong. I use the Trident for mostly ABS parts. I don't do any PLA on it. So I do all of my big batches of printer parts for builds on there. And then the 2.4 that is used for larger PLA prints or just any PLA print. Like this new screw unit from K2 Kevin. I did it on the textured sheet. And it has a Hedgehog Mix logo on it. Pretty cool. So those are the printers that I use. They're the ones that I've been using for a while. I know how to, well, the Micron's new, but I know how they work and I know that they're pretty good. And then I have all of my other printers. So if this thing stays on my shelf and I'm using it, then that's a good thing. If it goes in the pile over there with some of the other ones, like the CR10 SE, no, not CR10, that's still here. The other SE, the Ender 3 V3 SE. Names are hard in 2024. Can we come up with like animals or buildings? Why is that top hat jumping up and down? Did anyone else see that? You love Fixin' Dude's burger? Yeah. Burger. Fixin' Dude has a burger. And it looks really good, and all the pieces are flexy. It's amazing. Remind me to put a download link for this in the video description. PTFE tube. How's that even possible? The tube is inside of the chain. Unless it's the tool head PTFE. Oh. Yeah, again, this is an afterthought. If they have to make the printer, if it's got to take this much space anyway, why wouldn't you just incorporate that into the design of the printer? Like, they could have had a much cleaner, slightly higher printer. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's what the heck? It's actually the drag chain is hitting the little handle part. It's the drag chain itself. That's oh, that's great. Okay. It's still doing a bed mesh? Wow. Push down, lid's not on properly. Is it not? I mean push down. There's nothing to push. It just sits on these screws. Yeah, it like... Yeah, look, what the drag chain just obliterates it. The drag chain doesn't even... Look at this. There's no room for it to squish. It's like impossible. Yeah, I can see it. It's going in the screws. It's sitting flush, but the actual drag chain sticks out way too far. That's a terrible design. Wow. And I don't know a better solution, to be honest. Like reorienting the drag chain differently. Maybe running the drag chain more like a voron, where it has a drag chain for the X and the Y. I don't know. That is not a good design. You took a couple links off the drag chain. Front corner is lower. Oh yeah. Is it not the right size for this? Is this even on right? It is. Yeah, it's it doesn't even go on. I don't know how I can show this, but it doesn't seat on both of the front ones, only one at a time. It like this thing has to be a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, you can like kind of force it into place. But then if you put that one in, this one pops out. Yeah, this the whole thing doesn't even go on. Rotate it? I can't. There's a hole for the drag chain in the back. It has to go like this. So if I push in this side, that one comes out. If I push in this side, this one comes out. No comment. Besides the fact that the door will never sit exactly as it's supposed to. Like, how is it that bad? Is it just not lined up at all? Did they get the CAD wrong? Like, what's wrong with this thing? Like, if I push this side in, and I push this one in, I can't. That one comes up. Oh, is it leveled? Can we print on it, please? Okay, let's do a print. Let's go printing. Works for you? Well, I guess that's part of the lack of QA/QC. Like that should be perfect. I'll report that, but that means that the lid doesn't seal. And I'll be using this for ABS, so I don't want this thing popping off mid-print. Stepper hammer. Have you tried leveling your bed? Yep. So I'm gonna hit land printing and print, confirm, send to printer, one-click printing. Make sure print platform is empty. Yes. Uploading, and there it is. Let's see some printing. I haven't done anything besides the initial calibration. We'll leave the door open because we're printing PLA. And let's see this thing print. Woohoo! Very exciting. Ooh, that camera, or the light is not good for exposure, but that's okay. Yeah, the fan, like, I'll probably cover the fan up if I'm gonna print ABS on it. Voron parts printer. That's the Trident. The only, okay, so it is cleaning. I didn't really catch what it did, but I think it tried to detect it. Ooh. Does anyone else see that movement up and down? Did anyone else see that? Is this bed that unlevel from the factory? How do you adjust the bed leveling on this one? On the Bambu, it's pretty easy. Oh, there are 4 points, maybe? Ooh. How do you manually level this bed? Yikes. No, okay. The bed is supposed to auto-tram. It auto-trams. It can't auto-level itself. There should be a chain and link types or drag chain prevents. Push forward. Yeah, I'll check it out. But I think the fact that the top cover doesn't actually fit on the top means that every time the drag chain hits it, it's gonna pop off. Slip a wedge under one foot. Not quite how that works. I am 94. Thank you for the Prime sub on Twitch. I will say this is a completely different experience than Bambu. Every single step feels a little bit off. the bed mesh here. Weird. On a welded steel frame. That's what I was wondering. How do you manually level this bed? Because in the Bambu, you can level it. There's the leveling knobs. So, whoops. How do you level this? They're trying to hide it? Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I said I want to view this stuff, because I need to see it. Looks like the first layer, it did go on smooth enough. Yeah, that's the thing. With a bed mesh, you can counter just about anything. But a 1.2 millimeter deviation? That is brutal. You can see it moving up and down. You can physically see it moving up and down as I go from the back to the front. Wow. Did you look under it yet? I can't see anything. And I want to double check that the... Nope, the flex plate is on what looks like correctly. Someone linked me a video on how to manually level this thing, or where's their wiki guide on how to level the bed? Yeah, so it's a fixed bed. It's the same thing as the Bambu. 1.9 millimeters from highest lowest on your bed? That is borderline, like, bad. Let's see. Let's watch someone else's. Okay, hot bed leveling. Great. While this is printing, looks like it's actually doing a decent job so far. We'll let it do its thing. Home the bed. Move the bed to the lowest position. Turn off the power. Unplug it. Remove the base plate. Okay. Yeah, point two is usually anything higher than one layer line is bad for bed leveling. Loosen the belt tensioner. Remove the belt. Tighten the Z screw clockwise. Oh. Oh, it's telling you to manually... Okay, okay, so there, it doesn't look like there is a way of... What? In screw? Oh, so put back in the screws that I threw away. Okay. Huh. So you're just guessing and checking? I guess that's not a terrible way of doing it. Is that really what you have to do every time? Well, I mean, this is a one-time thing, but... Okay, why wasn't this done at the factory? Why wasn't this, like, leveled at the factory? That doesn't make any sense. Huh. Okay. So, why did I have to screw them in? Is that to, like, force it into its lowest position? Huh. I don't know. Alright, weird. I guess we'll have to do that. So looking at the web browser, it looks like it's high on like this side right here, which would make sense. No, it's not the plates. This is a whole, this is like 1.2 millimeters. This is a perfect slope. It is. You can tell that it's the actual bed because this is one, let's see, yeah, Y's here. So this is one screw, all right, one lead screw. Here's another, and the last one is in the back. So that just means that this side has to come down, and this side also has to come down. But it's flat otherwise. Like, this is the actual bed if you look at it properly. The whole frame might be warped. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, the fact that I can't put this on correctly. The fact that they don't line up at all. But that's like, it's completely off. It's like, I don't know, 2 millimeters? Like 2 millimeters almost off? It's bad. It's just on the front. Like there's no way for that to warp that much. That's just like the spacing of the 2 screws that are supposed to index perfectly into here. Oh, and I'm missing a magnet. No, there's only 2 magnets on here. Okay. This thing is so jank. It's like a popper. Pop. Pop. I was kind of hoping it would be better. I'm not gonna lie. And it's exhausting air right into me. I was hoping to be a bit better. Print quality wise, it looks like it's doing a decent job. It's also printing a circle, so... Oh, wow. Never mind. The pressure advance or some setting is way off. Yeah. Never mind. I don't even know if I want to finish this print. Maybe I will finish it to get a good benchmark. Yeah, the flow is not calibrated at all out of the factory. I'm probably gonna immediately switch to Orca Slicer and then start running flow tuning. And then brood it and do all that other stuff. Yeah, I mean, a little bit disappointing when you spend over $500 on a printer and the bed isn't even remotely level. It's difficult to load filament into. The actual cover is super cheap. Oh yeah, still foam on here. Probably remove that. But it has a nice holographic sticker on the bottom, so it has something going for it. The actual like physical construction of the printer seems pretty good, and that's what I like. I like when the hardware is generally good and the software needs some tweaking, because that means they can update something with firmware. But if there's a hardware issue, there's no firmware update that can solve that. I really don't want to have to return it. I really don't want to. It's a lot of hassle, but I'll reach out to my Creality reps and explain all the problems I'm having. This seems like it was rushed. It does. I don't know if anyone else gets that. That, you know, like a lot of this stuff could have been easily fixed if it was beta tested. Like, it seems like no one really used this printer before sending it, or maybe mine is just some, you know, it's not quality controlled. Because, what is it? At least a couple other people have gotten printers that are clearly, like, defective lemons. The joy is that it's all fixable. Right. So is this like a standard Creality printer where they're expecting end users to fix their stuff? I don't know. This is a machine that you don't want to touch. You don't want to touch anything on the motion system. You don't want to touch really the frame. You're adding some very basic mods, but nothing that should be complete tear down or replace. Users are beta testers. Is it really worth sending out a printer? Like, I paid for this. I was a regular user. Is it worth sending this and then having to completely revise the printer after the fact? Instead of just waiting a couple extra months and beta testing it? So this was, I did get it on a slight sale, but it is currently $560. Where a P1P is $600, so it's $40 more. Does not come with an enclosure, does not come with a side cooling fan. And an additional $100 for the P1S, which is my default recommendation, and still is my default recommendation for a good Just Works 3D printer. 2mm tolerance is okay for the print bed? No, that's not acceptable. When it's clearly a installation problem, like the bed is not leveled. That's why on the Trident, it auto levels. So it looks like that before it's level, and then it goes through and does the bed tilt adjust, and then actually, gets it coplanar to the gantry. Where this is all tied together, which means they save 2 stepper motors and some extra config, but it means that they can't level the bed. Actually level the bed. Well, I'll at least tune it in Orca Slicer and, check the actual print quality. But I guess I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. Well, they didn't have room for extra motors. I think that's the issue with this design. It really, it's a really nice looking frame. I'll give it that. Like solid metal frame. It's a good shell for modding. Not like the gaps though. It looks like these are completely separate parts that weren't really designed to fit together. But that's mostly just an aesthetics thing. Yeah. Yeah, the frame definitely looks nice. And I've seen people completely mod these things. Someone is putting a, I think it's a whole VZ bot gantry in it or something like that, for whatever reason. I don't know why. But I would not buy this to immediately want to mod it. Like, build a scratch printer if you want to mod, mod your printer. Seems like it's handling overhangs fairly well. Fans are screaming loud. It's a very loud printer. Documentation says 3mm is okay. Wow. Well, okay. So technically, it's not the end of the world, because with Clipper, it does a mesh fade, meaning after so many layers, it'll try to completely eliminate the need for a bed mesh. Bambu does not have that. If your bed is tilted, your whole entire print will be skewed the whole way up to the top. So, I mean, it does mean you're not going to get a square, you know, a square print anyway on a printer like this. But 3mm is a lot of deviation. That's crazy if you're actually printing something that big. Wow, yeah, even in their stock, that's crazy. This is not acceptable. This is their wiki. It shows a bed like about the same amount out. Yeah, wow. That, you know what, this right here really shows a lot about whoever did this really doesn't 3D print, in my opinion. That is pretty far out. Like, I'm upset on my voron when it's out 0.3mm on a 350 bed. 0.3mm. I'm expecting 0.1 or less on a bed like this. Yeah, a bed mesh will compensate, and you will be able to get a print off of it. But if you're expecting to have anything functional, there's no way that would work. Wow. Well, what other printers are there for the same price? We have the, what was that one that was going around recently? Yeah, the FlashForge AD5M. I don't think that's even up to this level, but I think that one has tri-leveling, if I remember correctly. Does it? I don't remember. No, that's very similar. Actually, it looks very similar to this. Yeah, that's on sale for $300. It's not enclosed, but yeah, this might be a better buy. Or the Pro. Yeah, the Pro is it on sale at all? No, it's $600. Which is only a little bit more expensive than this. Oh, do I have to check out this printer now? Because if this is better than the K1, then, well, it's better than the K1. The bed size on the FlashForge, I think it's also 220. Thank you for the YouTube sub. This will be going on to YouTube after. I don't think my Creality reps will be super happy. But, well, that's the point. I'm not going to sugarcoat issues like this. This is not acceptable for the price that I paid. I still think the K1, the CR10 SE is probably a better buy than this. It seems to work better. It's just not enclosed and takes up more overall room because of it. And I don't want to make a video like buying a brand new K1C and then completely modding it, because that, you know, by the time I'm done, it's going to cost the same thing as a Bambu. And at that point, you just get a Bambu. Seems like it's printing fine. Okay, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Aaron. Another Micron. I know, well, the Micron, I only really want one of every printer because I use them to compare against other printers and for the experience. Like, it's a very good experience to get a printer like this because it shows how much effort Bambu puts into their printers versus just kind of taking the same design style. Oh boy. It's printing. It's suboptimal, but it's printing. The stock profile is not nearly tuned at all, so I'll have to go back in and tune it. But it's printing fine. I'm just gonna take this top cover off. It's doing nothing for me. Oh, it makes it a lot louder though. Wow. Okay, I can definitely hear that louder without the top cover. Yeah, it's heavily over extruding, but also under extruding. I don't know what it's doing. The stock profile is not good. The stock bed is also a bit jank because it requires glue. It's very basic. This is a very basic printer. And I don't expect an average user to be able to pick this up and then just, you know, use it flawlessly. Unless you download a profile, switch your bed out, and use just standard textured PEI. So what am I going to do? I'll probably end the stream pretty soon. And I'll let this print out to get a good bench line of the stock profile in Cura that it comes with. And then I'll do the same thing in Orca Slicer after calibrating it and see, you know, if just upgrading your slicer profile can make that much of a difference. And this is one of those things where, like, I really want to like this printer because I spent over $500 on it. So I'm going to try to justify the costs. Oh, wow. The feet. It's like smushed. It's really, really smushy feet, which seems good for isolation of vibrations, but they're also already dirty. Anyway, I want to like it because I spent a lot of money on it, and I really don't want to return it, but if I was not reviewing this and I had experience with other printers, I would not be keeping it. So we'll leave it at that. I will put an affiliate link for this printer down below if you do want to pick it up. Maybe in future batches they'll iron out some of these issues as they typically do. But what's the word? This is not Spark Joy. Looks nice. So I'll end it here on that note. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for future content. Let me know what other printers you'd like to see me unbox and completely go through. I'll do further analysis of this printer on my live streams and off stream as well, and give some feedback in my Discord. I'll have slicer profiles for this available on Patreon once those are ready. Overall, I mean, it looks decent as from like a hardware point. It's very basic, but looks good. I'm expecting with a little bit of hammering and tuning, I could probably make it up to my standards, but as of now, it's just a little bit lackluster. So I'll reach out to Creality and see what they think about those issues, and I'll try to post an update down below if I remember to. Otherwise, just feel free to join my Discord, and we can chat about it there, or one of my live streams. I might keep it, I might not. I don't really know yet. Otherwise than that, thank thank you all for watching. Make sure to check out my other videos. You might be interested in one of my boron builds. I've recently built the Micron Plus. I'm also working on a tool changer over there, which is printing fantastic. So great way to do multicolor prints or multi-material prints without wasting filament or really time. So check out those series. Subscribe to me on Patreon if you want to access print profiles and some more behind the scenes stuff as I post them. I don't really post there much, but mostly just useful things. Have a great night, good morning, good evening, and goodbye.